to a Game with Chums podcast. I'm your host for today's podcast, and with me is not
Right, what's your name?
Oh yeah, my name is Paul, I believe. But with me is not Frankie, aka Laura. It is it is the return of the prodigal one, the ever lovable and affable and hygienic Mr. Rors. Mr. Rors,
That sounds like
where the
me.
where the hell have you been, you naughty, naughty person?
Been extremely busy
What?
doing saving the world, and
Yeah,
I've
man,
just had a lot going on, a lot of family stuff going on that demanded attention, but
yeah,
now is pretty sorted, hopefully. So
yeah. Well,
we've
I mean,
crossed
we
touch
won't go
wood.
through the family stuff and all that because that's personal. But yeah, like I had my sister, like she was because I have no other friends, so she was filling in for you
Filling
and
in.
doing very well, to be fair. And the views and the traction on our podcast was quite high when she was on. So
It's a lot to live
no,
up to.
no pressure.
I'm gonna live down to my previous estimates
Yeah,
rather
but
than
as you
live up
know,
to Laura's.
we we did things a bit differently with the podcast with Laura and I. Um, but now that you're back, I will ask you how you been, what have you been doing, what have you been playing, what have you been watching?
Wow, how have I been? Busy, as I mentioned. We're into 2023 now. 2022
Mm-hmm.
was very much a year of ups and downs. Some pretty good ups. Got a decent job with a nice pension, which is always a plus. So that's a
Yeah,
plus.
yeah. I mean, we're getting to that age where we start looking for over our
You need to
shoulders and
think about
looking
pensions.
at our pensions. Yeah.
So yeah, that's a plus. And then like a lot of family stuff, which has been very much an emotional roller coaster, which obviously is very personal, so I won't go into it. But 2022 was just very up and down kind of year. So I'm hoping this year is going to be better. So hopefully you get the year off on the right foot. What have I been playing? I just went. Oh, I mentioned this to you right before we started, but I just finished Callisto Protocol like 2 days ago, which I don't have a lot of time um, to play games as much as I did before now with this new job. So it's taken me a while to play it. Literally like playing 20 minutes of it a night for like 3 weeks or something, and then a bit more on the weekend. So I finally finished it on Friday, and I pretty much enjoyed it. It wasn't wasn't as good as I was kind of hoping and expecting it to be, especially coming from like some of a decent chunk of, I think, like the main creative minds behind Dead Space. It feels like quite a step back from Dead Space in quite a few ways. And it's weird as well because obviously, like, you know, Dead Space, the whole kind of thing with it is like using the plasma cutter to cut the limbs off to kill the necromorphs. In this one, it's actually more melee focused. So you like you get up close and personal with them, and then you kind of get locked in with an enemy, and then you just hold a direction on the D-pad to like duck and dive like you're Muhammad Ali or something.
Yeah.
And then you just pull the right trigger to smack him with a stick, and it's very, very different. Quite like it because it's a bit different, but it's not particularly deep, but it's very kind of crunchy and impactful, so I don't mind it. But I think that also has the effect of like taking a lot of the horror out of it, because in Dead Space they've all got like spindly blade-like arms and everything, and they come screaming at you. And the thing you want to do in Dead Space is keep them at distance so you can like pick bits of them off. In this, they just right from the minute one they just come running at you, and they're like right in your face, and you're doing a dance with them and hitting them with a stick. So right from the off, they're like right there, and I think that just takes a lot of the horror out of it, because they're not really scary at that point. Because you're just like, okay, I've got to hold left, got to hold right, now I've got to hit him. And I think it's probably the least scary horror game I've ever played. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, it looks incredible, and it sounds great. Like, the sound design is fantastic, as you would expect. Dead Space was the same, but it's just not scary at all. and the story is very predictable. Like by the time you find out what's caused the outbreak, you'll be like, oh yeah, it won't be a surprise. And but it's enjoyable. I liked it. I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10, solid 7 out of 10. And I feel like it's one of those games that it's like not perfect, didn't get everything quite right, but the sequel, there's a lot of potential there for a sequel, and if they get to make a sequel, then I think they will have something pretty good on their hands. But yeah, I finished that recently, and I've just kind of been dabbling with the new Star Ocean. So I only put a couple of hours into it so far, and that's about it. Oh, I did play a little bit of High on Life when that came out, and I played like 3 or 4 hours of that and haven't gone back to it in a while. That was quite fun. Don't know if you played any of that or not. I think did you do a video of it?
I did.
Yes, I thought you did.
I did. Yeah,
Jogged my memory.
Yeah.
What did you think of it?
I enjoyed what I played. I played more. I played more in my personal time, and I quite enjoyed it. I was a bit worried that the weapons were gonna talk throughout, but luckily it's not that it's not that bad. They do sprout a lot of one-liners, which are funny, but after a while you're just like, oh god, shut up. But that's part of this charm, I suppose. But it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Where I thought it was just going to be non-stop. But sometimes you just want a bit of like quiet time while you're shooting. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I do intend to finish it. It's a different kind of shooter. It's I like the art style. I like the comedic humor to it. Even though, like, I think the creator of Rick and Morty is in a bit of trouble for domestic violence.
Yes,
so it kind of taints the experience.
That's a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, but with anything, man, like, hand on heart, who what, like, her artist creator has not had like something in their personal life that they've done that they're not proud of. So yeah, I mean, it's like when we like certain bands or artists. I remember like when you find out about what they've done in their personal life, you like, can I listen to that music? Example being Michael Jackson. There was those rumors about him, and another one was the Lost Prophets, which I actually had CDs. I had CDs of them, and I threw them out.
When you said Michael Jackson, I legitimately went, "Oh, thank God, he's not going to mention." No, he mentioned Lost Prophets.
He mentioned. I had to. I won't go into detail, but it's pretty bad and horrific. I threw all these CDs out. I can't disassociate artists, especially with the lead singer being the lead. If he was the guitarist or something, maybe, but not with the. I can't have that music playing. So yeah, but yeah, good. Anyway, get it. Yeah, Higher Life is good, man. Fun. Yeah, cool. Anything you've been watching? Oh, sorry, go
on. What have I been? I have actually been watching Outlaw Star because I haven't seen it in years.
Outlaw Star, the anime. Oh.
So I'm in the mood for some anime, but I can't decide what new stuff. What new
90s anime. 90s anime, man.
I bought the Blu-ray special edition from all the anime like 3 or 4 years ago or something. It's just sat on my shelf since. I just looked at it the other day. And I was like, it's been like, must be like at least 15 years since I've seen that. So I've been watching that again.
Yeah, it's good.
Still as good as it ever was.
I really enjoyed Outlaw Star.
Yeah, it's great. It's one of those the 4 big anime from 1998. When I think of 1998, you've got like Cowboy Bebop, you've got Outlaw Star, you've got Trigun, Serial Experiments Lane. I feel like those are the ones that stick out to me, like late 90s.
What about when did Evangelion come out? It's not late 90s.
95, I think.
Mid 90s then. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, that's about all I've been doing because I just have less free time now. Stupid long
commutes. Welcome to the world
and everything.
They're not good. But yeah, cool. So
what about you? What have you been doing?
Yeah, I was just waiting for your cue. Me, obviously,
I haven't done this in months.
Yeah, I know. I'm busting your balls, man. What have I been up to? What have I been doing? Obviously, like working. um streaming. I felt like I know you've been busy and all that, so I was like felt like I was like had to churn out some videos just to like not cover you, but like keep the content
Keep
up.
it ticking over.
Yeah, and streaming a lot, and I've been playing. Persona 5 Royal came out on the Xbox, which I played the vanilla game on PS4, but
Mm.
when the actual when the expanded version came out on Game Pass, I had to I had to I had to buy the physical copy because support it. Atlas releasing the Persona games on Xbox. So I bought that, been playing that. Such a good game, man. I've forgotten how good it is and long. It's fucking long as hell, man. It's like, yeah, this is good, man. 100 hours in,
100 hours
still,
later.
come on. uh, yeah, so I've been playing that and
Yeah, I picked up a
enjoying
physical
it.
copy as well when it came out.
Oh yeah, you
And
got it. It's got to be done.
I installed it on via Game Pass beforehand. I played like 20 minutes of it. I'm like, yeah, this is great, but I just don't have the time now.
Yeah, I
So I
mean,
haven't touched it since.
yeah, I mean, maybe you could play it on your Steam Deck. Is that possible? Can you do that?
Not via Game Pass.
No,
You
you
have to
can't.
buy it on Steam or install
Uh,
Windows on the deck, and I'm not really too interested in doing that at the moment. But I got a new laptop recently,
mm,
so I can play Game Pass stuff on that. And Persona 5 Royal is actually play anywhere, so you can pick up your save on PC and Xbox. So when I do get to it, that's what I'll be doing, playing it on, play it across both to try and maximize my time on it. Yeah, I'm
it's
a
got to be
couple of
done.
hours into Star Ocean at the moment, so that's going to have to be my big JRPG for the time being.
Oh yeah, and I started playing Tales of Arise. Um, like when I was thinking to myself, if I'm going to play it, I'm going to stream it because then it sort of
Mm.
motivate me to play it. And I fell into the trap where I was streaming three different games at once. I was streaming Dragon Age Inquisition, Persona 5 Royal, and Tales of Arise. And I sort of thought to myself, I can't rotate that like that. So I got to focus on one game. So that's what I did. I
Mm.
started to focus on one. But I really like Tales of Arise. I think it's a really good game. Yeah. So fuck off. So yeah, I've been playing all three. I've been playing like long RPGs and like JRPGs like in the hours, and
Mm.
they like to really, really like pad it out. And Inquisition's a long game as well. So
Yeah, it's hard to play like
uh,
multiple RPGs at the same time.
oh, it's
You
tiring,
just need
man.
to be
But
able to focus on one, really.
yeah, that's what I decided. I've got to finish one, then I can move on again. Let's just hope I don't forget the mechanics and stories of those particular games. But
Mm.
fair, they're fairly straightforward. I mean, I should be all right with Persona. It's just turn based, so that's all right. With Tales, it's full on. Like I've got to refresh my memory on the combat system on that 'cause it's
Yeah.
quite actiony and very good. I like it as well, especially like the tag teams you can get on that. Really good. Yeah.
I never actually finished Arise, which is weird for me because I love the Tales of series, and
Mm,
played quite a few of them, like at least since they started hitting the 3DS and the PS2, PS3 rather. Arise, I played it on normal, which I probably, in hindsight, I probably should have just played it on easy because the feels like the economy's really screwed up in it.
mm,
Healing items are really expensive, and you don't get much money. So if you have to
mm,
use a healing item in a boss fight, which you will because they hit hard, then it feels like you just kind of feel like, oh, fuck, that's like
mm,
a tenth of all my gold gone now, and I won't get enough from this boss battle to buy another orange gel or whatever to replace it.
mm.
And
Yeah. Yeah, I
I can't
noticed
remember.
that.
There was something to do with the in-game economy with money, where there was something you could do to get more. I can't remember what the deal was with it, and it wasn't. Yeah, it's been a while. I got about halfway through it, and I was really enjoying it. Apart from that, but every boss battle would drain my inventory of items, and then I just wouldn't be able to replace them. So I'd end up having to like grind and sell like all the junk and everything for hours just to try and get my stuff back. So I think I'll probably restart it at some point and just play it on easy.
Easy, yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Doesn't
like
feel
I
right
remember
there being a Tales game that I haven't completed.
Yeah, I remember I played the when I was playing it. You face the first boss who's like a lord or something, one of the lords. Oh, what, are they lords? There's some sort. Yeah, you're like you beat him, and then the credits come. So I was like, oh, so that was all just a prologue before. I was like, oh, okay, fair enough. I was like, that was a pretty tough boss battle as well because he was like, like JRPG's multi formed boss battles. So he had like two different, I think it was two or three different forms. I was just like, oh, great,
The guy with the
yeah,
big axe.
yeah. So, but yeah, it's fun. I like the characters in it and everything.
The
It's all
boss
good
fights
so
are really
far.
cool. It's just they do kind of. There's one like part way through. I can't remember what number boss it was, but he just really takes the piss. He just starts like charging up this ultimate attack, and you have to try and like kill a load of ads before you can get it off or something. And so it's been a while. I think when did it come out last year? It's been a while since I played it. I can't remember
Yeah, I think
exactly
about
off the top of my head.
2001, 21. I think
Sounds about
23
right.
now. Yeah. So I've been playing that, and I have been watching. I watched Chainsaw Man. I finished that.
Good.
Good stuff, man. Yeah, really good, man. I suggest you watch. It's on Crunchyroll, so you can. You got the premium now, and so you just give that a watch, man. One of those shows you just got to watch because it's been so hyped up. Everyone's talking about it, and so yeah, you got to just give it a watch, man. It's really good, and you got to watch Cyberpunk Edge Runners. That's really good. That's on Netflix. That's so good. It revived Cyberpunk 2077. It saved it. Like the interest in that game shot up, and now everyone loves it. So the developers even came out and go, "Oh, cheers, Edge Runners, you saved Cyberpunk." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah,
The
see, I don't
power of
even own the
anime.
game yet, let alone played it. So I was kind of waiting until I'd played the game, but I don't even own a copy
I,
of it at this point.
I think the new patch is the new the next gen ports coming, or has it already been released? I'm not
It's
sure,
been
but I
released.
know,
It was
yeah,
released a while ago, and by the looks of it, it didn't really do all that much other than sort of up performance a bit.
up performance and fix a few bugs, I think.
Mm.
But I intend to get back into it because I started playing it on the Series X, and I mean, I only played like about 10 hours, but I didn't really see any bugs or anything in it that really like broke the game. I think it because they tried to port it to last gen, and that just was a bad idea. It just ran like absolute dog shit. Like trying to like make a game for old hardware is fucking difficult, especially a game that large. It was such a bad idea. But yeah, man. So I've been watching that, and anything else I've been watching? No, not just those things, man. And not much stuff out on TV these days or on streaming. Is there any big shows like Stranger Things? I kind of went off. Uh, Everyone's been watching that Wednesday show. No, the one Wednesday Adams. I haven't really, but I looked at it and go, I don't think this is for me. It's not. I'm much as I like the Adams Family. I love the cartoon and the films. With Raoul.
Wow,
Yeah, God, oh God, may you rest in peace. Brilliant as Gomez Adams. But the Wednesday, it just looks a bit too teeny boppy for me, too TikToky, too Instagrammy. You know what I mean? It's all that
bit too
that's what's
2022.
yeah, I think I just showing my age, Jim, and I'm just like, yeah, it's not my thing. And she does that dance. I know about the dance because obviously being on the internet, you got to know about these things, and like people are replicating it, and it's on TikTok, and I'm just like, oh,
They've been doing it to the wrong song as well, apparently.
does it? There you are.
Yeah,
I think some
I
ice
haven't
skater or
watched any of
something
it
done it.
either.
No, I just look at it and go, yeah, I don't think I'm going to enjoy it. Maybe I will. I don't know, but
I'm
I don't
kind
think
of
it's for me.
vaguely interested because I know Tim Burton directed like half the episodes.
Did
But
he? Oh, so,
I haven't found the time to really look at it, to be honest.
I mean, yeah, and maybe I will if I'm really bored one day or something. Just binge watch it.
If you run out and you've watched everything else on Netflix, oh, maybe.
Yeah, I'll just stick it on. But one thing I have watched, which didn't get a lot of buzz, but it's so underrated, it was Andor. The Disney Plus show. Brilliant, brilliant show. Just go and watch it if you haven't watched it. It's great.
See, I'm in a WhatsApp group, and like most of the people are Star Wars fans, and like they were all absolutely raving about it while it was on.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I don't see why it hasn't blown up on social media, like say like the Mandalorian show has, or even Obi-Wan, which was a terrible show, shit show. No, it's not good. It's just one of those shows. Like, what's the point of it? Andor is a really well written, well acted show. It's just so good. Go and watch it. I recommend watching it.
I need to catch up on these Star Wars shows because
to be fair, yeah, Karen.
I watched Mandalorian season 1 and 2, and I did really enjoy that. I still haven't watched Book of Boba Fett. I haven't watched.
Don't watch it.
I watched like an episode and a half of Obi-Wan. I haven't seen any.
Don't watch it. Don't watch it. You can skip those two because they don't really tie into that. Because this is a prequel to Rogue One, which is a film I really liked, and it's such a good show. It just makes all the other, even Mandalorian, even though that's a good show in itself. I think Andor was probably like the Citizen Kane. It's like of Star Wars. Yeah, I really do.
List of Star Wars.
It's just the best Star Wars show to date, and that's not saying much. But I think it's up there with some of the best written TV shows of current generation and past. So go and watch it.
Yeah, it's like what one of the guys in this WhatsApp group I was mentioning was saying. It's like he's saying it's not just like a great Star Wars show. It's just a great show.
It's just a great show. Yeah, it doesn't rely on the tropes of Star Wars. It doesn't have that much fan service. Say like the later season of The Mandalorian did, where you had cameos and people appearing from the expanded universe and stuff like that. It doesn't have that. It doesn't rely on all that. It's just a really well crafted, well told story, and I can't recommend it enough. I suggest whoever's watching, whoever's listening, stop. Once you finish listening to this, go and stick on Andor. You won't be disappointed. Some people criticised it for being slow and not, because there's not action like there's no lightsabers, no like stormtroopers. It's just like it's a methodical. It's a slow build up. It's 12 episodes, and there's 3 arcs in the season. 3 separate stories, but they all lead into one. But there has a start, build up, and an end, and then it leads on to the next like arc, which is really it's just so good, man. Better than that drivel Obi-Wan and that absolute shit show, which was the Book of Boba Fett, which just became the Mandalorian show. So yeah, go and watch Andor, and you'll find your love for Star Wars again, because I was getting jaded with Star Wars. As much as I love the films, I was just like, you know what, I could do without a bit of Star Wars. I'm getting a bit fatigued. The shows have been subpar.
It's a bit like a lot of Star Wars in the last 10 years.
Yeah, I mean,
there's been a lot.
The sequel trilogy has not been well received. It's just a rehash of the original trilogy. There was talks of them redoing it again. I was like, don't, you made your bed. Don't reboot. Don't just, if you're going to do it, just doing new films.
Should have just actually planned it to begin with.
Yeah, it was just unplanned. Like J.J. Abrams wanted to do like a homage to the original, which it was like A New Hope was like was it the Force Awakens is just a New Hope. Is just a New Hope. It's weird, like I know this is not what the podcast is about, but the main subject, but it's just weird that all the characters just reverted back to what they did. No progression. Han Solo just was still a smuggler in his 80s. Princess Leia was still a general fighting in the rebellion. Luke just went off some planet to die and be Yoda. So it's just like, oh, okay, well, this is great. But anyway, we're not here to talk about the trilogies. I know some people like the sequels, I mean, like I know a lot of people like yourself. You like the Last Jedi, and so we're not going to go into that. Maybe we will one day, but at the moment we won't. We'll maybe do a podcast just purely on Star Wars
Maybe when
franchise.
enough time has passed and we've had like a Jedi funeral, like in Spaced.
Yeah, we'll
for our
burn
copies
everything.
of the Rise of Skywalker.
Just stand there like Luke Skywalker watching the pile burn. That's so great. If you haven't seen Space, it stars Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, the guys in Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead. It's a great show. Go and watch it. You can watch it online now.
It's probably the best show that's ever come out of this country.
Yeah. But yeah,
no, I fucking love it. Space is just so good.
So good. But yeah, I think we're gonna crack onto the main subject now. Hey, shall we do that? Yeah. So cool. So we're gonna talk about. I don't know if you heard about this, Rors. That we didn't talk about gaming news, have we? Should we talk about a bit of that before we get into the main subject?
We can. I don't think a lot has really gone on, to be honest.
I mean, we're not going to go from past gaming news because that's gone on past.
That's been and done.
Man. We're about current news, man. We're about the current news. Oh yeah, are you the new Last of Us TV show's coming out? Are you gonna watch it?
No.
Oh.
I don't have Sky TV, so I can't anyway. But
yeah. Or legally, yeah.
Yeah, I can't legally. I'll probably wait until all of it's finished airing, and then if it's all still on Now TV, maybe I'll subscribe to Now TV for 1 month to watch it. Although I don't know if they take them off. They might take them off like when the new one airs or something. I'll have to find out. But yeah, I was looking at it online earlier because I was like, what is that? I haven't been paying that much attention, to be honest. I was like, what is it airing on? Let me have a look. And they were like, exclusively on Sky. And I was like, brilliant. Like, you can watch it on Sky for the low price of £24 a month. I'm like, that's not a low price, dude. That's a high price. So,
I'll pay a high price.
I'm not paying £24 a month to watch that. I wouldn't pay £24 a month to watch anything. But yeah, if they are still on like Now TV by the time it's nearly finished airing, then I'll just like pay for 1 month of Now TV and watch it on there.
Yeah, fair.
I mean, the series, the game is so like very much a TV show anyway, so I kind of feel like, in a sense, I've already experienced it. But yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing how it comes out.
Yeah, I mean, like I really like the lead actor who's played the Mandalorian. Is it Pedro Pascal? Is it?
Pedro Pascal.
His name? Yeah, really like him. I think he's a great film. Perfect for Joel. He just looks so run down and disheveled. It's just like, oh, you do look like Joel. So yeah. I know some people are complaining about the ethnicity change because the brothers are now Hispanic, and as someone who has Hispanic blood, I'm cool with that. I mean, he looks pretty much like a white guy anyway, so I don't see what the big bloody deal is.
Wow, so we're erasing Pedro Pascal's identity.
I think he's like got European descent. I mean, he's South American, so probably has somewhere. So yeah, and he's American, isn't he? So I think he is. See, I don't know, whatever, man.
Anyway, yeah, and you've got him, and then you've got Bella
Ramsey. Bella Ramsey.
There you go. Thank you for that. Playing, who played Lyanna Mormont in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it's weird watching that girl, watching Bella play in Game of Thrones with that little squeaky voice to go and play Ellie with her American accent. So I mean,
like, I haven't watched any trailers or anything for this, so I know virtually nothing about the series other than who's in it.
But if you played the game, you pretty much know what's going to happen in it anyway. So
yeah, I mean, I've played the game like the 3 times. Last time I played it was right before Part 2 came out, so it's still fairly fresh. But it's coming out on, I guess we can mention this news. I mean, it's not like something that just happened, but the game, the remake, PS5 remake, The Last of Us Part 1 is coming out on PC in like 2 months. So people on PC that never had a PS3 or PS4 or PS5, because the game is on all 3 of those now, will be able to play it. I'll be honest, I'm probably going to rebuy it on PC because I'm I'd quite like to play it again with new graphics. I don't have a PS4 anymore, and I don't have a PS5 at all, so it appeals to me to buy it on PC.
Cool, man. Cool.
One other thing.
Oh, yes. Hello.
So Crafton, as they're called now, used to be called Bluehole, if you remember. People behind PUBG. They are the ones that financed, as we were talking about earlier, Callisto Protocol. And apparently their share price has fallen because the game did not meet its targets. So I don't know what their target was. I mean, it's a new IP from a new team. I mean, I know they've got like previous from working on Dead Space and that, but they are a new developer. So I don't know what they were expecting it to do, but apparently it's done like under 2 million, which feels pretty good for a new IP. But maybe these are like Square Enix style expectations, where they were like, "Oh, the Tomb Raider reboot only sold 5 million copies. It was a massive failure," or some stupid shit like that. Who knows?
That's getting rebooted.
Yeah. Yeah, I imagine they probably spent a lot of money on that game because it looks incredible. It's up there with the best looking games out at the moment. Callisto Protocol, and that don't come cheap. So yeah, I mean, I imagine they've probably spent a lot of money on it. But it's a shame if it doesn't do well and they can it, because I feel like a sequel could be really good. But well,
it's got one of the actors I really like in that. Like she's in that. She was in the Boys. I was like, oh, I like her from the Boys. But yeah, I got a little man crush on her. I was like, oh, it's cute. So yeah,
she's basically the co-lead character of the game. And I'm kind of hoping if they do a sequel, she'll be the lead in that. So it kind of feels like they're setting that up at the end without giving any spoilers away.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Hopefully they get to make a sequel, because I feel like it'll be a bit of a shame if they don't.
They need to iron out the combat on that, because a lot of people complaining about the combat being a bit too melee. So hopefully they'll sort that out, because I heard that it works well against one opponent, but when there's multiple, it
falls apart.
Yeah, so maybe they get rid of that. The reason
I'm glad I played it on easy, because there were times where you get mobbed by 3 or 4 enemies, and you just like, the combat system just doesn't work for this. But as I was playing on easy, I didn't get frustrated with it. Whereas I think the only reason I started on easy is because a lot of people are complaining that it has some annoyingly frustrating parts. Not difficult, just like annoying shit, like one-hit kill bosses and stuff like that. And I was just like, I have very little free time. I don't want to get frustrated with it. So I put it on easy, and I actually had a pretty great time with it. So I feel like it's one of those instances where playing on easy actually gives you a better experience.
Yeah.
But, a lot to iron out.
Before I know we've been dragging this out, but before we go into the main subject, did you see the Game of the Year awards?
I did, see the winner, because it was on at like stupid o'clock on a.
But you know who won You know who won Game of the Year, right?
I'm sure I did. Was it Elden Ring?
Yeah, Elden Ring. What do you think about that?
I have no idea. Haven't played it.
Yeah,
but it felt inevitable that Elden Ring was going to win, because that was a.
Do you think Game of the Year just goes to the most popular game now? Do you think that's how it works? Like everyone's
I don't know. I mean, that game was a proper phenomenon, and I feel like if a game is as big as it was, and it kind of dominated the conversation, and it's available across multiple platforms as well, so almost everyone can play it. Obviously, Switch-only players can't play it, but yeah, I mean that seems fine to me. I didn't play it because I never really got. I'm not
hating on Elden Ring, but this is just a question, just a legit question.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know, because I haven't played it, so I can't really have any kind of informed opinion on it. But I mean, it was a huge phenomenon when it came out, and like I say, most people that play games could play it because it was multi-platform. So yeah, it feels reasonable to me. But I just never really got into the Souls games. I started Dark Souls 1 like 5 times, and I never got more than about halfway into it and just got bored. So they're just not really for me.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, cool. All right, now that we've got that out of the way, let's get on to the main subject, which
The meat and
is
potatoes.
the Microsoft have the direct coming up. Uh, there's
They've
also
even
the
called it a direct.
I mean they've just ripped off Nintendo, so I wonder if the guys at Nintendo got anything to say about that. But yeah, it's coming up. So do we know? I know Starfield's not going to be on there. It's having its own sort of show. But let's just talk about that, and we can also talk about the acquisition that Microsoft are currently going through, and the many obstacles that's been put in their way by certain parties.
Because
But
that thing is
but
still going on.
it's still happening, man.
A
It's still
year
going
after they
on.
first announced it, it's still going.
Yep, still happening. But yeah, what do you think? What are you hoping for? I mean, I think we know what games are being showcased there. But
Yeah,
do
I
you
mean
think there's any?
they've mentioned four. I don't know if it's only those four or if it's like these are here is four games we're showing and stuff. There's rumors, but obviously but there were rumors about this before it got announced, and one of them, I think it was Jez Gordon, said Starfield won't be there because they're going to be doing a thing later on. And then like people on the internet were like, "This is a failure if there's no Starfield. They need to come out ahead of this and say there'll be no Starfield." And then when they announced the press what's it called, press release for this developer direct, as it's called, they were like, "We're not doing Starfield, won't be there, but we're showing it later." And people are still like, "I can't believe there's no Starfield." But they're being upfront about it. They're going to do something else for it later. Just relax. Just enjoy what you're getting. Like we don't get like January showcases from Xbox. We get E3, and then we got to wait for the rest of the year to come back to the next E3, and that's it. So just enjoy the fact that you're getting something in the middle. And but yeah, they've said what we'll see is Elder Scrolls Online, the Forza Motorsport reboot, Minecraft Legends, and Redfall. And whether there'll be any more than that, we'll just have to wait and see, I guess. But there's rumors floating around that Tango Gameworks is going to announce a smaller game called Hi-Fi Rush, which is some kind of like rhythm brawler or something, by the sounds of it.
No, that sounds like it's going to be terrible.
I can't fathom what that would be in my head. We'll see what that is. But yeah, like Elder Scrolls Online, I don't play it. I barely have enough time for one MMO, and I play FF14, so I just don't have the time and the mental bandwidth for another. Forza Motorsport, not a big like simcade racing player. I play a bit of Horizon because they just like knockabout fun, but I never really get into the Forza Motorsport ones. But it'll be on Game Pass, and it'll probably be a graphical showcase, so I'll probably fire it up and do a couple of races just to sort of look at it, because it'll probably look pretty. Minecraft Legends, not really fussed about Minecraft. They did Minecraft Dungeons a couple of years ago, and I played a couple of hours in that, and it was like fine. A little Minecraft style mini Diablo. I think this one's like vaguely RTS or something. It's like a action strategy game from the makers of Minecraft. I'm not really big on strategy games, so that's probably not going to change my mind. Redfall I am very excited for because it's Arcane. As far as I'm concerned, Arcane don't miss. And there was a preview that came out recently, because people, when they announced it, everyone was like, "Oh, it's Arcane doing Left 4 Dead," and that never made any sense to me, because they said right from the minute they announced it that it was an open world game. So how are you going to make an open world Left 4 Dead? That doesn't make any sense. And there was a preview recently. I can't remember what site it was, but someone did a preview of it, and like with interviews with like a couple of people from Arcane. I can't remember who exactly it was now off the top of my head, but a couple of the lead designers and stuff. And Harvey Smith was one of them. And they said like the gist of the preview was it's more like Far Cry than it is like anything else. And a lot of people early on from the early rumors were saying it was very Borderlands-like, so that kind of makes sense, like an open world FPS game with loot and stuff. And I really like the tone of the announcement trailer, so I really want to see more on Redfall. What about you? Anything there in particular you're interested in?
Not not particularly what's been mentioned. I'm more sort of I always get more excited for what stuff that's not been announced that's going to be shown. Like a special, like a surprise. I don't know if they're going to drop any surprises. I hope they do. Um, I'm just hoping for some announcement. Um, I don't know, like PlayStation do this thing where they like their recent what's their one called, the
State of play.
showcase state of play. They showed was it Silent Hill 2 remake was being in development there, and they showed Knights of the Old Republic was being in development there as well, which is I don't know if that's still happening because the studio who was supposed to do it have been like told no, you shut that they took that away from them. So God knows what's happening there. The Silent Hill 2 remakes happening, and that's going to be an exclusive for PlayStation. Yay.
Made by Bloober Team.
Yay. Cheers. People complain about like Xbox buying up studios and publishers, but Sony handpicked titles to money hat to keep off other platforms for X amount of time, or even like with the Final Fantasy 2 one, that's going to be completely on PS5. I don't know if it's even going to come out on PC. Who knows? No, like I don't even know if Final Fantasy 16 is going to be on PC.
Well, supposedly it's 6 months PS5 exclusive, then PC. But who knows if it will ever go to anything else after that?
I mean, like the
Final remake never did.
Never did. I mean, that's been like even I think someone spoke out in Square Enix about like it's not good for them to have it all on just on PlayStation. They're sort of losing out. But it's up to them if they want to take the money from PlayStation to keep it exclusive.
Give me your money.
Give me your money. But yeah, I mean, all those games on that direct don't really thrill me, to be honest with you. I don't play Minecraft. I barely play Forza. I have played it and I enjoy what I play, but what with Forza, you're going to get a great game, great looking game, plays well. So I know what you're going to get there. Redfall is probably like a standout title there. I think everyone's quite excited for that. I hope it does well because there's so many people hoping it fails. Obviously, just because it's just on the on Xbox and PC. So there's always going to be people hating on the fact that it's going to do badly, praying for it to do badly, and I'm just hoping like there's going to be some sort of announcement, maybe a sneak, because they always leave a stinger. Well, they should do it near the end where they go, "We've got another thing to announce," or showcase like some gameplay from a game developer. Yeah, a game developer, maybe like a Fable or Perfect Dark or something. Yeah. We know they're being made, and we just don't hear much about it. And this is like sort of the perfect time for them just to give us a little taste, a little appetizer. Yeah, something. Come on, Phil, help us out here, man. Just give us some crumbs, man. Like, come on, man. I'm hoping they do something. Yeah, or maybe like they've announced like a deal or something like that with a developer to make a particular game.
So what you're saying is this where Scalebound gets re-announced?
Yeah, I mean, there's because why not? No, like they gave up on that IP from Platinum, so it was Platinum, wasn't it? Yeah, and they sort of just, I mean, everyone was so hyped for that to come out, and then they just sort of shit canned it and just like, and that's when you knew that generation for Xbox was done. Just like, this is not good. That was one of the big IPs that was going to come out with the console, which probably would have been a seller for the console.
They cancelled that. Nah. They closed Lionhead, and you were like, okay, this gen's done.
Yeah, I know it just still wasn't going well. I mean, I think that was under Phil Spencer's stewardship when that got shit canned. So
yeah, he was the head of first party at the time, I think.
Yeah.
remember.
I mean, he's done a lot of good. Obviously, buying studios and developing developing IPs. But that was not a good. I don't think it was a good call, man. I think it was from what I saw from it. He looked really good.
I was really excited for it. I thought it looked
Yeah,
really, really promising.
yeah. And that started that sort of trend where people were saying that Xbox has no games. Um, and at that time, we were thinking, yeah, they don't have a lot. I mean, they do have stuff, but a lot of it's just like established IPs, like your Gears and your Halos and your Forzas. So having that would have been good. So I'm maybe like the head of Platinums is actually interested in having that revived, and it would be good for their Japanese sort of because they're looking to expand more in Japan. I know the Series X and S are selling pretty well out there. I mean, not great numbers, but much better than what last
Better than they
generation.
were, yeah.
Oh yeah, so yeah, and Phil has been going over there trying to make grease some palms, get those Japanese games onto the Xbox, which he's done with Persona. Yeah,
Got Persona
so
on there,
maybe
Star Ocean's back, Tales came back.
so maybe it would be good to have like something that will appeal to the Japanese audience more, and having a game from Platinum probably be up there. I mean, why not? Come on, do it.
Well, there have been rumours over the last however many months, partly because of, like, as you said, like Hideki Kamiya from Platinum has mentioned it a few times and said
that's his name.
Still wants to do it. But there was the Xbox, the Xbox 2 podcast with Jez Corden and Randall Thor.
How could I not, man? they're like the biggest. Yeah, we just rehash all their stuff.
But I haven't listened to the most recent one, but apparently Jez has suggested that it might actually be happening in the latest one. I haven't listened to it myself, so I don't know if I'm just poorly paraphrasing something that got repeated online and that's not actually what he said, but from what I saw, it seemed to be people were suggesting that maybe it is potentially they're looking into it again, maybe. Potentially.
Maybe just a lot of maybes, exclamation marks and question marks. Maybe, probably, put some
hearsay rumor.
Yeah,
but no, like, from what I've seen the chatter online, it seems like he said it might be coming back. So maybe this is where they announce it.
I mean, they got all the assets for it still somewhere on someone's hard drive. It's all up there. So if it needs a bit of polishing and upscale graphical improvements so it looks better on current gen, and just do it, man. I mean, they're throwing money at everything, so I mean, exactly. if you're willing to spend billions on publishers and studios, I mean, come on, like open the checkbook up.
Platinum.
Yeah, just kick the door in while they're having their dinner. Go, give them a few cheeky slaps, firm handshakes, and put down a suitcase full of American dollars and just walk out. I can imagine Phil doing that, just booting the door. hey guys, like, just putting up a suitcase, opening it, and just walking out. Not without even saying a word.
Turn around, just go. And then go.
Hey, and just walk out like a G, like that.
But no, like you're saying, they're trying to spend $70 billion on Activision Blizzard at the moment. Throw $50 million to Platinum or something and get a Scalebound back on the tracks.
Yeah, I mean, they're using all that trillions of dollars that Microsoft have stored away. So with their flexing, why not just 50 mils? Nothing to Xbox, man. So let's get it done, man. Let's start a campaign now.
Just get it scoped right this time. Maybe it doesn't need co-op.
No.
Don't go crazy adding stuff to it. Just make a good single player game.
Well,
maybe down the line, if you want to add co-op, do that as like an update or something. But get the game out.
Yeah, I mean, I think Xbox have that sort of got their co-op games. They got enough of that, with like games like Sea of Thieves and Grounded and stuff like that. You don't really need to have another one. But yeah, I'm just waiting for what's Obsidian working on now. They're working on something. Avowed. That'd be good something to see. I mean, they released the game recently. Yeah, they released the game recently. Is it Pendulum?
Pentiment. Yeah.
Pendulum. Yeah, that was pretty good. I enjoyed that.
I still haven't played
Uh,
that. I've got to get around to that because I've heard
oh
very
yeah,
good things about it.
it's a very, very good game. The art style is very unique. I can't think of another game that has that sort of medieval. It's like a tapestry, those old medieval tapestries and stuff like that, and paintings.
Illuminated manuscripts and stuff.
Oh yeah, looks so good, man. Yeah, yeah. But I think what like Xbox needs is that they're that sort of new AAA IP that to come out, that new game. It's what they need, because like obviously PlayStation have that down on lock. They released the God of War Ragnarok, which has done well. We have a mutual friend who's played it, which he said is not as good as the first, not the
The
first
last
God of
one.
War, the last one. Yeah, so he was a bit disappointed with that, and
The last God
it's a
of War
good,
of us.
yeah. So he's a bit disappointed with that one, but it's still. I think Xbox needs that sort of, but you can't keep
Yeah.
relying on the Halos and the Gears of Wars to sort of like as a gold standard. You got to sort of like start releasing and showing, like even if it's old IPs like Fable, like Avowed, like the new one. Got to start showing that a bit more because we're all waiting, man. We're just there like starving children, like Oliver Twist asking, "Please, sir, please, can we have some more?" And I
Please,
think Phil's
Phil,
just look,
can I have
yeah,
some more?
and it's
More, you say?
oh, I'll give you more. And I feel like he'll just drown us in titles, innit? And he goes, is that enough for you? Are you not entertained? Well, we're choking
Imagine
on like all the others.
that's a mashup we need to see now. Oliver Twist cross Gladiator.
Yeah, someone make it happen, man. Someone make it happen. Just tag us in it if it happens, man. Well, yeah. I mean, I'll probably do like a reaction video to the direct. I know it's on the Wednesday, isn't it?
It's
It's
Wednesday,
Wednesday night.
25th, which is when I
No,
will be. Again, not wanting to go
traveling.
into family stuff again, but I'll be at a funeral that day, so I won't be able to
Yeah,
watch it.
no.
Bad timing, but it is what it is.
How
So
dare
I'll
he?
have to watch it after the fact and just see what they show. But yeah, hopefully they do have some surprises. So I feel like they have mentioned those 4 games, but I feel like hopefully that isn't going to be it because like
That'd be a bit underwhelming if it's just that, because a lot of people are anticipating this. A lot of people are excited for this direct, and I just hope it's more than just those 4 because it'd be a bit underwhelming.
Yeah, like I don't want to slate those games or anything because like Elder
No,
Scrolls Online is really that's the word I'm looking for here. It's a big success. A lot of people playing. Forza Motorsport obviously is like the rebirth of that brand. Basically, they've like gone. They were putting them out every 2 years, and then they've gone back to the drawing board to like completely rebuild it from scratch. So a lot of people will be looking forward to that. Minecraft Legends, obviously, Minecraft's huge. It's the biggest selling game of all time, I think. So a spin-off is a big deal. But I feel like sort of core, as much as I despise that term, gaming audience are going to look at those 3 and go, where's the big AAA stuff? So I don't want to feel like I'm slating those games, but I do hope they've got a bit more than that as well. But apparently it's 45 minutes long, so you'd hope they have a few things because they're doing they're going straight into an Elder Scrolls Online like seasonal update thing straight after, and that starts 45 minutes after the starting time of this developer direct. So it seems to be a 45-minute show. So hopefully they've got some good stuff to show. But that Hi-Fi Rush is one people have mentioned and like rumored about. And I just had a quick look while we were talking. Apparently, it's a sci-fi shooter with like a sort of cel-shaded visual style. So sounds interesting. See what it's about.
Why not? I'll have a look. I mean, like obviously, Starfield's got its own showcase. A lot of people they want a release date, I think, which I think should be released this year, probably the middle of the year. That's what my estimate is.
They said first half when they delayed it. So.
Hopefully they don't delay it again. I know when it was showcased, a lot of people liked it and a lot of people criticized it because there was some frame rate issues on there. I thought, ooh, that's slowing down a bit. And hopefully I didn't see any screen tearing. I don't think I.
I
Did
don't remember
we?
seeing anything like that when I watched
Uh,
it, but I mean, a
there
lot
was
of games use like an adaptive VSync, so you get tearing like right at the very top of the screen, and that can be harder to notice. But I don't remember seeing anything. I watched it again
no.
recently because I was like, it's a good 15-minute like presentation. I hadn't watched it since they showed it, so I watched it again recently. I'm excited
Mm.
for it. I know a lot of people are like, it's just No Man's Sky. So, I mean, when they showed the bit of like
Oh,
firing the pistol at the rocks to like harvest resources, I was like, yeah, that's straight out of No
mhm.
Man's Sky. But I mean, a lot of games do like harvest resource harvesting and stuff.
I mean, it's an
But
RPG.
yeah,
Everyone, there's always that in there now. So
we'll see.
yeah.
I wonder if they'll just do a trailer and like to say just like a short trailer just to remind people it's there, and then just say like look forward to a Starfield direct at like a couple of months down the line or whatever, or if they just don't mention it at all now that they've said ahead of time it's not going to be there.
Mm.
Interesting to see what they do. But,
Yeah, I think they must have something in there up their Lambeth sleeve. So
mm,
I think they got something cooking. I hope they do. Hopefully, it just shows more gameplay. I'm talking about the direct than just talking about. You know, when they just sit after they show like a 2 minute gameplay, and then they just sit there and talk about it for like 15 minutes. It's like it's great. You're talking to the developer, but let's just skip all that and just show us more of the game. Yeah, I mean, we can talk.
yeah,
We can cut
I
down.
like hearing from the developers, but there needs to be a balance of the two.
Yeah,
If you have them like narrating over the gameplay, then I think that's probably the best idea because then you can like immediately picture what they're talking about because you're looking at it.
mm, mm,
It'd be
yeah,
interesting
but
to what they do because this is the first time they're doing this kind of thing. I mean, obviously they had Inside Xbox a while back and they kind of abandoned that because people didn't really like it because that was too
yeah,
much chatting.
yeah. I mean, is that someone with the live audience there as well, wasn't it? If I remember correctly, was there a live audience there, or was that just a celebration
Honestly, I
thing?
can't remember. The XO shows
Mm.
had live audiences. I can't
Might
remember
be
if
that then.
Inside Xbox did, but
No, it
I
might be
remember they
that. I
did
think
spend
you're.
like 20 minutes in one of them doing a fucking escape room, and I'm just like, nobody cares
What
about
was
this. What are you doing?
It seems like Xbox always seem don't always they take two steps. They take one step forward and two steps back for these things. They
Mm,
never seem to quite
get it right.
obviously because yeah right obviously because they don't really do that. It's more of a like Nintendo and Sony have got it locked down. They know what they're doing. They got a formula now and it works. And I
Mm.
think with Xbox they're still like trying to feel their way through and find what works for
Just
them.
copy that formula because that's what Sony did.
I mean
Nintendo
yeah they
started doing their directs, and Sony went, "Yeah, we're going to copy that wholesale," and it works for both of them. So,
so just copy best
and
just
you took the name already, so
yeah, just pack it with games. 2 minute talking about from the developer about how happy they are that you're going to enjoy this game and hope you enjoy it and all that. Then just get on with the games, Mr. Woods. Well, being 45 minutes is a good and bad thing because I think, oh, well, they're going to show a lot. But then I think there's going to be a lot of talking in this, isn't there? There's going to be a lot of talking.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. Either they could show a lot of stuff they haven't mentioned, or they could do
mm,
like 11 minutes on each game of the four they've
mm.
mentioned.
I hope they don't do that because
Mm.
I keep repeating it, but we all know they got so much stuff cooking in the oven. They got so much in development right now. This is not including Bethesda, like the separate studios they got so much cooking, and you want to see, you want to smell a bit, see what's coming out that
Smell
what's
what the
been made.
filler's cooking.
Oh yeah, like come on, man! Like we've waited a long time. You've had about 3 years. I know games take long to develop, but
And there's been a
it,
pandemic, which
there's
really
been a
hasn't helped.
pandemic. That's not helped clearly, but I think since those some of those games were announced, you had God of War, the reboot, and then we've had the Ragnarok because that God of War came out in 2018, and then in that time we've had the reboot. I know like assets and stuff have already been built, so they have to build the game from scratch. But it's kind of like, oh, let's see what we got. And for the amount of time that's been some of these games have been taken, you just really it sort of raises the expectation a bit more. You go, well, we've had so much time to work on this game, said any of these games, that it should be pretty good. We don't want to don't want to see any sort of like issues with like performance wise or anything like that. You know, you don't want to say a game that's it's been released and needs a patch for it. You know, day one patch. So we kind of want to just have it every take as much time as you want. When it does get released, you want it to
Make sure it's
to look
solid.
yeah, it's really good. Okay.
Yeah.
No. So, yeah, I just want it to be not for just for my sake, it's for like the fans and for the brand itself because they're building so much momentum. I feel like if they once they have like a show us the IPs that they're working on, or the ones we know of, it could do so well for the brand because you know, they killed it with Game Pass. So like I know a lot of people hated on that, but now Sony have like trying to replicate that their own one. The
Half-assedly.
yeah, not too well, and the Xboxes were sort of the consoles selling well, especially the Series X S. That's doing really well. So I feel like all they need now, you know, they
Execute
bought
on the
these
games.
studios. Yeah, they bought these studios. We know what Bethesda are doing. It's just the smaller studio, the separate studios that they bought that I'm more sort of interested in because like Bethesda's, you know, they've come out. We know what they're working on and stuff like that. So we there's no secrets there. But with the other studios that they acquired before that, we want to see what they got going on. If that makes sense. So yeah, I mean, obviously they got the Activision thing still ongoing. We've got to talk about that because
I think that will ever end. It's just that this is our reality now. That just goes on forever.
yeah, I mean, Sony's what and well, I don't think Nintendo give a shit to be honest. They
Don't
got their
seem to
own
care.
little niche. Yeah, they don't care whatever. You know, we got our fans. Our fans will always buy the same Pokemon again. You know, like even though like the last games like apparently were not performed badly in terms of sales, like the games not being that great, but people don't care. It's just like Pokemon. It's like all the criticism like the Xbox get about, oh, you know, Halo's just the same game again. Like, well, I can say that about Pokemon. As much as I like the original, I haven't played the original since the red and blue. I
So
haven't played it. It's just the same thing, and that's fine. You know, each to their own. But don't say, "Oh, Halo's the same thing." While you going there and
visually
playing
speaking, the latest
yeah,
Pokemon looks fucking embarrassing.
yeah.
Like
I
the
mean,
amount of money that game brings in, they should feel ashamed what shit
yeah,
they're
but
putting out.
I don't think that people criticize they on Nintendo as much as say like Sony or Xbox, especially Xbox. It's just people even point out, go, yeah, this looks terrible, but I'm having fun though. You know, when they see the game like have a bug in it or crash or something, it's like it's fun
Or just
because
look
it's
like a phone game from 10 years ago.
yeah, it's just because people love Nintendo for some reason. Even though if you're a YouTuber or a streamer, they will come down hard on you if you stream one of their games or play, you know, or make a video about it. You know, they got that old
I
mentality
still
that
I still remember they had the whole thing in Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U where you could edit and upload your replays.
hmm,
Like it was part of the game. It was a function the game allowed you to do to edit your replays and then upload them to YouTube. As soon as you
hmm,
upload them, they claimed them.
claim them,
I
block them,
uploaded a few and they got copyright claimed immediately. And I'm like, what was the point? Why even put that in the game?
and they had that partnership thing they
That everybody
implemented.
hated.
Everyone hated it. I just don't think that people criticize Nintendo as much as it should be. Because I like Nintendo, you know, I owned Switch and everything, and I grew up with the system. But sometimes I feel like, man, you let them sort of get away with a lot. And when people do if you do speak up about it, people would defend a Nintendo. I like they don't need defending, man. They do need criticism because what some of the stuff they do is a bit unfair and not good for the consumer. And I think some of the way of thinking is straight out of the 1990s. So I mean, Sony got away with it, not got away with it, sort of progressed because there's a lot more Western influence and studios involved and thinking. So man, Nintendo, I know they've got their defenders out there and their fans, which we like Nintendo. You own a Switch. I own a Switch.
Yeah, I like Nintendo. I just wish they were a bit more modern.
Yeah, I mean, like they got the sequel to Zelda. Oh, fuck, what's the game called
Breath
again?
of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild. Yeah, that's coming out.
It's called Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah, that's supposed to be coming out in is it May? I think it's May. It's coming out. And I'm just like, I wish it wasn't on the Switch because the Switch is so old now and it's really struggling. And
yeah, it's just showing its age.
I wish they'd put a new Switch out or something. Because it's just, I barely touch the Switch now because a lot of the games just run so badly. And it just gives me a headache. But anyway, we're getting wildly off topic.
Yeah, we're supposed to talk about Xbox Direct, and now we're talking about on Nintendo. But it just went off on a tangent and a bit of a rant. But bring it back to the acquisition of Activision, because we haven't done this podcast with you for a while. I think we should just touch upon it. What do you think about it?
I just want it to be over with at this point. It's gone on so damn long, and it's just there's a thread on Reset Era made by this guy I think he's Spanish. He's like he's a competition lawyer, so he's got a grounding in the subject, and he made this huge thread with all these details in it. He keeps it updated and everything. It's a really good resource for sort of seeing what's going on. Like the latest news is that Chile approved it, but it's sort of sitting in limbo in the EU, the UK Competition Markets Authority, and the US FTC at the moment. The FTC want to stop it, but they haven't filed an injunction because from all the reading I've been doing, it sounds like they don't have a case at all. So they've taken it to their own internal court rather than filing an injunction, which would then go to a different court and then they'd lose. So they've filed a suit in their own internal court and then said, yeah, we'll hear it in August, just hoping they can delay so that the parties just get bored and just decide to stop doing the whole thing. That seems to be their strategy, which I don't think is great. If you think the transaction is illegal and it needs to be stopped, then file an injunction and take it to court and put your case forward in court. Don't just try and delay it in the hopes that the parties walk away, which is what seems to be happening at the moment. The CMA, I think we will be getting something from the UK authority this month. And a lot of people seem to think it's riding on that. So if some stuff I've read seems to suggest the US FTC are delaying it in the hopes that either the European Commission or the UK's CMA block it, and then they won't have to do anything. Because if any one of them blocks it, then it falls apart. So if we get the CMA's decision, or I think they're doing a preliminary decision this month, and if it looks like they're going to allow it, then it'll keep trucking on. If it looks like they're going to block it, then that might be the end of it anyway.
It's just to let everyone know, I realised that my mic has not been plugged in. I just done it on live. I'm going to leave this in just to show how stupid I am. I was like, oh, it's it's been capturing my audio, but my camera. I just looked down. I was like, wait, the thing's not bloody plugged in. So yeah, I'm going to just sort that out. We'll be back with you in a minute.
No worries. Yeah, so my mic's plugged in now, so it's all good.
I should mention, because I haven't been on this in months, clearly I have a new mic, and it's very easy to tell mine's plugged.
Nice light on there.
It's extremely streamery. But if I tap the top, it mutes the mic, so I've got to be careful not to do that, because if I do, then
Yes.
and that's how I could have gone back in time and killed Hitler and stopped World War II.
He wasn't a nice guy. Jesus, what Christ. I'm not Kanye West. Jesus. I suppose I was going to make a joke of it, but I was like, you can't really joke about that thing. Yeah, come on. So yeah, like my mic's on now. You can see the green light just there.
Green light to engage.
Yeah, but if I should turn it that way so I know it's on the whole time now. So yeah, like apologies for the audio discrepancy, but yeah, it's back, and probably for the last 20 minutes of this podcast, it should be a bit clearer.
You do sound clearer now, but honestly, you sounded fine before. I didn't even pick up on it.
Yeah, the bane of my life is this camera. The webcam takes over my my Twitch streams and everything. It's like I think it's sentient. It's just like, you know, it wants to take over my life.
It's not Skynet, is it?
No, it's maybe Logitech, you know. So maybe they are like, no. If for clear, like Logitech, we're just joking, because maybe in the future you want to like give us a cheeky sponsorship and we'll plug you.
I mean, you could have done it before we had to buy your cameras for like £100 each.
Yeah, great cameras, you know, for what they are. But yeah, come on. But yeah, I mean, like, hopefully the Xbox Direct will become a more of not a frequent thing, but it will become like, I don't want it to be the last one and we don't hear about another one for like another year or so. Hopefully they'll do this like the same as Nintendo Direct do it, and every few months they do one. Every three.
I mean, if they wanted to do one like every quarter, that would be pretty cool. Because they've got a lot of studios, and that means, I mean, obviously there's been a bit of a drought for the last few years, but when everything is firing, there's going to be a lot of games. And it's going to be a lot of stuff they need to showcase and give dates for and everything. And you can't just have E3 and nothing else all year when you've got like 30 studios or whatever the hell they're going to have if the Blizzard, Activision Blizzard thing goes through. So I'm hoping they do this, just do it like once a quarter or something, and just showcase different games at each one. That'd be pretty cool. Because it's kind of hard being an Xbox fan when you get one like marketing beat a year. Like everyone else is getting directs and state of plays and stuff, and like they do like special directs just for one game, and then they do other directs where they get like multiple games and announcements and stuff in, and you're just sitting there like, can't wait till E3 again.
I mean, like, unfortunately, E3 is not what it was. You don't really need E3. I mean, hopefully they keep it going, because it's something about E3. I don't know what it is. Like, I always enjoyed it. Maybe it's the nostalgia thing, probably. Yeah. Would I like to go? I mean, yeah. Like, if we were invited, I know you can go as to the event as a
regular punter,
just a punter. But I would like.
That's too expensive for us.
I would like to get in. You know, if we ever blow up, they'll be like, hey, those guys from England are pretty good. Let's get them, and we think it's going to be us, and it's Jez and the Jez Gordon and his what's his name? The other guy from up north. Yeah.
Oh, from up north.
No, he's the northern guy. He's on. He does his podcast. Is he the one he does his podcast with?
No, the guy he does the Xbox 2 podcast is Jez, an American guy. Randolph.
Yeah. All right, maybe. Well, yeah, like just get us two Brits over there, and we'll be forever grateful.
We'll be wildly unenthusiastic.
Where's the bar?
Wow, this is pretty cool. Yeah, this game looks pretty nice. Yeah.
Our routine for going to like cons and stuff is like, we have a walk around, then we find the pub, We find the bar.
No. The first thing we do is find the bar.
Go to the pub. Yeah, that's true.
Let's get a beer and then we'll have a walk around, see what's the bar.
Yeah, I mean, this is going off topic again, but we'll get back onto it. We went to Hyper Japan after, first time in like 2 years because of, obviously quarantine, COVID. We went and had a new location, which was in Battersea Park. So we were excited. Like, we're like, oh, it's always nice when we get to, don't know why I'm talking like that. It's nice when we get to, go to a new venue because we get to see a different part of London and, just experience something different. And the venue wasn't very good. It was quite small. Didn't have a bar there, did it? Didn't have a bar there. If it wasn't for the fine weather,
we had to buy that Shima stuff.
Oh God, yeah,
cocktail stuff from the,
and we
one
had
of the
to
stands in there.
It's a good thing about London. You're never too far from a pub. So we went out and looked for a pub and found a nice one, and it had a Sahi there, so it was all good. But it's just a shame we had to walk back. I mean, I feel like they lost a lot by not having an actual a bar.
I mean, they could have had a bar outside where all like the food stalls and stuff were. I don't know why they didn't.
No, I mean, maybe it's expensive to get a license to have one, but it's going back to Kensington Olympia, so hopefully they'll have something there. I mean, we're not alcoholic. We're not alcoholics, but we do like if you're walking around, you get a bit thirsty. Yeah, we walk around.
Aficionados.
You walk around, you get tired, you get a bit thirsty. You need that little something to help you because we're not kids. We're gentlemen, so we like to. It's like when we went going back to Xbox. We went to OX 19 in East London.
Box Arena.
That's the one. They had the bar there, but it wasn't open, and we felt so lost. We were just like, "Oh my God, no bar! What are we going to do with ourselves? We got to do this sober." I don't know why they didn't open one. It's like they got them there. It's like they're closed. And we walked around the whole thing like a bunch of like.
I'm not sure there were even like any kids there or anything. I don't know if it was an age.
I didn't see any children. I think it might have been.
I remember seeing any kids.
So, no, what's the deal with that, man? Come on, Phil, open your checkbook. you're not shy.
Phil's teetotal.
I want you guys to be teetotal as well.
He's part of the temperance movement.
Yes, that can bollocks off. I don't give a shit. Jesus Christ. Oh God. Yeah, so hopefully this become a thing and we'll get to see the games that's in development. I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit like the games that have been confirmed to be shown is a bit underwhelming apart from Redfall because obviously it's a new IP and everyone's very excited about it. It's done by Arcane, so we know it's going to be a good game. It's just the others were just a bit like you got so much in development. It's those the ones you choose to show that sort of officially, So it's just like
they need to give us something from like Avowed, Fable, Perfect Dark. They need to show those at some point, and I'm hoping even if we just get a trailer for one of them at this thing, then I'll consider it a success because they've all been announced and they're all announced years ago at this point. And nothing's been shown. Literally, all we have for all three are announcement trailers.
Yeah.
So it would be nice to see something from any of them.
Like even Hellblade, 2. We saw that was an actual gameplay demo, wasn't it? That looked really, really good. Maybe something more from that, and maybe like I know there was talks of them reviving Killer Instinct. I didn't even realize it went away. It just sort of died, and I was like, it was quite a popular game. There was big noise from that. A lot of big YouTubers like Maximilian was playing it. He really enjoyed it, and it just sort of ended. I was like, oh, I didn't realize it was dead.
It got like 4 seasons of content, and then it just kind of died after that, which is a shame because it was a really fucking good game. It's a really good game. One of the most fun fighting games I've played in the last decade. There were rumours that they're working with Bandai Namco on another one, and I kind of hope that's not true because that will just be a very different game. But I don't know who else they'd get to do it, to be honest. other than Iron Galaxy, the people that took over Killer Instinct after Amazon bought Double Helix. But I think they're flat out working on stuff. So
I mean, what's Amazon doing with that studio? Nothing.
well, I think they were part
Stadia's
of the ones
dead.
that made New World. Stadia's Google.
Google, sorry, yeah. That's, as soon as that left my voice, I was like, wait, that's wrong. That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think Double Helix partly became Amazon Games California or something, and I think they're the ones that made New World, the MMO that came out, and everyone went absolutely mad for about a week. And I have heard nothing about it since. But yeah, Amazon are very, very floundering in games.
Yeah, speaking of floundering games, whatever happened to that Xbox exclusive game? Oh God, we both got shirts for it. Bleeding Edge has died. That was like what was that based on? Overwatch, really, wasn't it?
It was like Overwatch if Overwatch was a brawler.
And that's just sort of just died, and I was like, oh. So I was like,
I think it had a lot of potential, but it just didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, and I remember because I wore the T-shirt, and I was like, oh, so I looked it up, and I was like, oh, it's just sort of dead.
I think the servers are still up.
Yeah,
it's probably just only like a very, very dedicated core of people playing it. So if you jumped in now, you probably just die instantly.
Oh yeah,
I played a handful of games, and it was one of them was like a King of the Hill type game type, and there were like 3 hills on the map, and it was supposed to the point you need to capture was supposed to jump around after a team captured one of them, and we had a team fight over one of the points. The other team won because we had a couple of players just trickling in late and just coming and dying immediately. And then the next point would pop up, and it should have moved around the map to stop this exact thing happen. But 3 times in a row, it just popped up on the same point, and the other team were already just occupying the point. And they were just so every time we respawned and went back in there, we just set up and just wiped us out again. And that was the last time I played it, because I was like, they need to fix that, because that's just stupid. But it was kind of fun. It's a shame it didn't really go anywhere. It was a neat idea. I liked the character designs, which is why I bought that T-shirt.
No, I thought it had potential. Just a shame. It just I don't know. It just didn't find its audience, and it's hard to break into certain markets, certain genres of games, and they try to, and it just that's why they're just buying just buying studios, the actual Overwatch and stuff like that. So
we didn't get our own Overwatch, so let's just buy Overwatch.
Buy it, yeah, just buy it. So it's all good. Maybe I don't think they're going to make any studio announcements. They said that if this deal with Activision goes through, they're still going to acquire studios. No, nothing as big as no big developers, publishers. That'll be their last one if it goes through. But they're still interested in buying. So. Yeah. But they'll probably buy small studios. So
that'd be more interesting to me, man. I'm not really all that fussed about them buying Activision Blizzard.
No. I'm
buying smaller independent studios is way more interesting for me.
That excites me more because it's like, oh, you bought Blizzard. That's cool. It's good. Oh, you're getting Activision. Why? You don't. I mean, you don't really need to buy them. Why do you want to buy them? I'm still thinking. I'm like, why do you want them? Do you really need that to buy them? I mean, I don't. Sony, if they were going to buy any publisher, they would have, but that's not how they do things. They rather just money out certain titles, especially titles with either big nostalgia or big fan base behind them. Obviously, with the Final Fantasy certain titles, the Silent Hill certain titles, that's how they operate, because they go, oh, there's already established fan base behind it. If we buy that title, have exclusively for our
we buy the game, we buy the fan base, basically.
Yeah, which has worked for them, and not many people call them out for that. And some people, either don't care, or there's such big fanboys, and they're not gonna, they won't hear the criticism or buy like certain IPs like Spider-Man. I was like, how is that single platform? Because they must have made a deal with Marvel to have Spider-Man come to the cinematic universe. There must have been some sort of deal doing that, because it doesn't make sense to have that iconic that character who Sony had nothing to do. Like, they didn't develop him, they didn't make him or nothing. There was nothing like that. It's always been on every platform to have that right. And with Wolverine now, they did that. So it's like, oh, this is great. They get to they know that Wolverine has a massive fan base. So like, well, can we have Wolverine? Like, is that part of the deal for having Spider-Man come on to the MCU? Yeah. So
I mean, people do kind of complain about Sony's money hats, but then the thing that always comes back is, oh, it's better money hatting a game than buying a studio outright. At least you get the game eventually. I'm like, yeah, there is there's clearly a difference in scale, but the outcome for the average gamer, I mean, you and I aren't going to see any monetary benefits from Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard, short of money we might save on a game that would go into Game Pass instead. But saying that, I mean, Overwatch is free to play, and Call of Duty I don't really play anyway. Activision don't do anything else. The only thing I probably would save money on is Diablo 4. But like, it's not like we're going to get a shareholders kickback for the moaning that. So the outcome is the same regardless. People getting locked out of games. And when you bring it down to that level, yeah, it sucks. It sucks. It sucks for PlayStation only gamers when Microsoft acquires a company and then knocks its games down. It sucks for everyone else when PlayStation money hats something as big as Final Fantasy 16. And then, you know, you've got like the Final Fantasy 7 deal that was supposed to be 1 year. It's written on the fucking box that it's a 1 year timed exclusive. And then they extended it for another 6 months when Intergrade came out. And we were nearly 3 years down the line at this point since the original release. April 2023 will be 3 years, and it's still not on Xbox, and it shows no sign of coming to Xbox. So you can't sit there and say, oh, well, they're timed deals, you'll get the game eventually, because clearly not. So
it feels like
the scale might be different, but it's the same fucking outcome for people that want to play those games.
It feels like that deal will be in place until all the 3 parts of the remake come out, and then maybe down the line,
fucking bother.
Yeah, down the line it'll just be like, oh, I don't give a shit about that. Are you excited about was it Rebirth, Final Fantasy Rebirth? No.
I mean, we had our whole spoiler cast episode.
Oh, we did.
I mostly disliked remake.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the changes they made were bad, and I think the game was twice as long as it needed to be, with awful padding that people complain about in other games, like MMO shit tier fetch quests, as people like to go on about. But everyone's surprisingly silent on that with this game, when it's just packed full of that kind of crap content. So no, I'm not particularly interested, but I think it sucks that people on Xbox that want to play it can't play it. I don't really care.
I mean, people could say the same thing about like Sony, Xbox buying Bethesda. I mean, but you know, like Deathloop or Ghostwire Tokyo, that was money hatted, and they wanted Starfield as well. So I think
Ghostwire still isn't out on Xbox.
No, it's weird, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, Deathloop just got released on Xbox, but yeah, so probably another year or maybe a few months before Ghostwire comes out on Xbox. It will obviously come out on it because, you know,
I think it'll be March.
But yeah, and then Starfield was the one that they wanted as well, and I think by that time Xbox was like, we're just gonna have to buy the Bethesda.
Guess we're buying Bethesda.
Yeah, and then now it's the same people who said, oh, you know, when Starfield was multi-platform, this game's gonna be great. And now there's the same people go, that game looks like shit. It's going to be bad. So
it's funny because I saw it happen in real time with when Ninja Theory were acquired. Because people used to like rave about Hellblade 1. The game is amazing. Make sure you wear headphones when you play it. It's an incredible experience. And then when Microsoft bought them, the whole tone of the conversation changed to Hellblade was kind of overrated anyway, to be honest. It wasn't really all that good. It's just like, you're the same person that like a month ago was telling people they needed to play it. It's just like, stop being a fucking platform war fanboy idiot and just enjoy games. If you like a game, you like a game. If you like a studio, you like a studio. If they get bought by the other side, then that sucks. Either you need to follow them, or you just have to accept that you can't play the games anymore.
It's when Sony bought Bungie, everyone's like, "Oh, do they own Halo now?" I was like, "No, that's not how it works." No, Bungie haven't worked on the Halo game since Reach, so yeah, I don't think you're gonna get that on. And if it just imagine if it did go on PlayStation, the amount of people go, "Wow, this game's amazing."
All these years I was saying it sucked and I hadn't played it. How wrong I was.
How very wrong you was. But any other thoughts on the PlayStation Direct, Xbox Direct, Developer Direct?
Just that as I say, I do hope they show a little bit more, even if it's just like 1 or 2 trailers of other games, just to kind of keep them in the conversation. I feel like Obsidian are very efficient. They work quickly. I feel like they could have something to show.
Knights of the Republic 2, that turnaround was quick.
Was that like 14 months or something?
Oh god, yeah. And that got released on Switch. It was supposed to have all the DLC and the extended content. Hasn't. And and that they've gone silent. The team that worked on it. People are, is it going to get the restored stuff on there? It's nothing. It was supposed to come out like last quarter, and now it's like that didn't happen. So everyone's just like, "Oh, what's happening with the restored content? And is it going to be released on other platforms?" Nothing. So, but I play it on. I've played it the original, and I play the restored content on PC. So I'm all good. I'm not really bothered about that. So, and the Knights of the Republic remake that's happening, that's gone dead. Who knows what's happening there? It seems like the thing now is it just remakes, and you got Resident Evil 4 remake coming out. You got the Dead Space remake coming out. You got obviously the Final Fantasy ones. There's talk of the Final Fantasy 9 being remade, which will probably be a Sony exclusive. Like I guarantee if that gets released, if that gets announced, it'll be a PlayStation timed exclusive. So yeah,
it'll be one of those timed exclusives that mysteriously never materializes on other platforms.
Yeah, I remember when the announcement happened with Final Fantasy. Everyone thought it was going to be announced that it's coming on Xbox, and they just said, "Oh, coming on PC." Yeah, and the guy just still said, "Yeah," and it's just like, and oh, okay.
I still can't believe they even bothered to put Crisis Core out on Xbox. I genuinely don't understand.
Well,
literally the only reason they've re-released Crisis Core is so that people are more familiar with Zack before Part 2 of the remake comes out. That's the only reason they've re-released Crisis Core. So it doesn't make any sense, and it feels like less like, oh yeah, here's a fun game we get to play, and more like a slap in the face.
Slap in your penis. Well, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, I don't know why. It's just weird. Yeah, I know. If they turn around and go, yeah, this is a PlayStation exclusive, I'm not surprised. But multi-platformed, you got a copy, haven't you, on Xbox? So yeah, so I don't know why. Maybe they just didn't really want to pay for that exclusivity deal. Just like, you know what? Nah, you're all right with that, fam. You can have that multi-platformed.
Same with Final Fantasy Origin, the Souls-like one that came out last year. I feel like the only reason that's on Xbox is because Sony didn't want to pay for it.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have the nostalgia feeling that Final Fantasy 7 has. So I know people will say, well, it was a PlayStation 1 exclusive game when it came out. I mean, it was going to be released originally on Nintendo, but the hardware wasn't up to scratch, so that's why they went over to PlayStation. So there was no one else about, was there really? So to really for them to go to. Um, but yeah, the Xbox Direct, like you said, man. Hopefully they'll throw a few cheeky trailers out there, maybe some with some gameplay, no CGI trailers. None of that, please. Just a little snippet of a bit of gameplay, because we've had CGI trailers for all most of the games that we know that's in
CGI for
development.
days.
Yeah, so just a little bit of gameplay, please, and some surprise announcements sprinkled on top, just to make this cake taste a bit better. But yeah, I think that's
Don't get too carried away, because you might be extremely disappointed. But yeah, hopefully at least one or two little things that they haven't mentioned would be nice.
I mean, that's what I think everyone really is looking out for, is the announcements or special, surprise announcements. That's what I'm going to be hoping for anyway. Probably not going to get it, like remember their last big one where everyone thought, like there's going to be all these, there was like people leaking fake lists of games that was supposed to be announced there. I was just like, I was looking at that, I was like, yeah, this is just fake. But they did announce some stuff. That game with Kojima, I mean, I wonder if they're going to mention any more of that unannounced game. Yeah, I mean, yes, everyone thought like
Kojima there, like we said.
Yeah,
I mean, to start showing it off.
They do. I mean, no pressure, guys, but we've been waiting a while and we're starving here, man. Yeah. Where's the game, Batman? Come on. I mean, you're doing so
solid.
Yeah, you're doing well. You got you've done Game Pass just for this sort of thing. So have all your first party on there. So let's start seeing a bit more of that. But I think we're going to leave it there, Mr. Rors. Do you have anything else to add?
Not really. Just to reiterate again that hopefully this is a good show, and hopefully it's something they do a bit more often. Like, I feel like they could do this once a quarter and just show stuff, because they're going to have a lot of stuff coming. And if they also get Activision Blizzard, they're going to have even more stuff coming. So they're going to need fairly frequent shows to sort of cover everything they're doing. Because like one marketing beat a year isn't going to cut it, and with the amount of stuff they're going to have coming, I don't think 2 is going to cut it either. They need more than that. But if it is going to be this going forward, just like a direct in January and then like a E3 time thing in June, then at least that kind of breaks the weight in half. So I'll take it. So we'll see what we get. Hopefully it'll be good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to piggyback on that and say, yeah, hopefully we'll see more, because they've got a lot of things cooking in the oven. And I think it's about time they started to show a bit more. I don't want to put any pressure on them. Take all the time you want. Well, not too much, but you don't want that crunch time and all that. Yeah, we just need to see just some stuff, just sprinkling the some, because
a soup song.
Yeah, with the amount of acquisitions and stuff you've done, we got to see what you put your money into, and what the consumer will buy and want to play. Because it's been a while, man. I feel like we've been saying the same things over and over for a few years now. But let's see.
Hopefully soon the dam breaks.
No, exactly. But anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. You can find us on most podcast platforms, apart from iTunes. Well, is it iTunes now? Apple Music. We're not on there. Yeah,
because we don't like Apple.
Yeah, so but thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you again next time.
See you, pals.
Bye.